Hey, welcome, crypto media friends. Late Sunday, doing the overtime on the weekend show, hustling, doing this side hustle with you guys because it's great that some of these influencers out there who are peddling their own projects to you. It's so funny. You just look at how long people have been doing it, and you're just oh yeah, 10,000 followers. That's pretty legit. And they're just kind of rehashing a lot of sort of what other influencers are saying. And picking up off of stuff on the Discords, and I do that as well. Come on, that's what I'm doing on there, and how value is brought from that. And so I know it's been a tough week for NFTs, but man, I tell you, everyone's kind of been doing, as I kind of mentioned. What I do love about this channel is a lot of influencers watch this channel, and it's not hard to see because all you have to do is click that bell notification, like, subscribe. You'll get word of when I announce stuff and I talk about stuff, and then you'll just kind of see it filter down. And I think a lot of us do this. We look at a lot of each other's work, and I think that's the challenge is to escape the cacophony of it. But certain things, certain events, like the BitCountry crowd loan, are going to be something I want to get back into. I think we've been covering BitCountry here on the channel for a long time now because of our interest in the Metaverse and how it's going to evolve, and being early is going to be super, super important, because when you look at Decentraland land prices, you understand, like, wow, I could have gotten in on that 3 years ago. I'd be doing pretty good. And so guys like DCL Blogger, etc., did, and they're like barons, land barons over there. DCL, what's up, DCL Blogger? Great channel, check him out. One of the OGs, like, that's the thing. It's like it's tough to find some of the OGs, but their perspective is what grounds them, and I think that's what's cool about people like Becker and Elio, and all the people that we all sort of check in with. Which, by the way, Elio jumped onto BitCountry, and because it's coming up, I'm going to go over the crowd loan and talk about the first documentary film funded by crypto. It's a bit ominous, but I want to try and cover it because I think it's important. Stepping stone within sort of how a lot of us as filmmakers, this is what I'm doing here in Los Angeles and Hollywood, here at the studio, trying to understand how to bring traditional media forward with the tools of blockchain. And there's so many in the boards that I run that are very curious and often angry about, frustrated, like, why can't I get some of this sweet coin? I just want, to make my movie. It's not as simple, and not as simple as that. Or it could be. And so I think it's just utilizing the tools, and then we'll kind of check in with the market really quickly. But yeah, let me talk about that, the first documentary. So Deadline kind of covered it. Deadline sort of, our, in the industry, one of our, fresh takes on the industry, slightly younger, slightly youthful, slightly maybe a bit more gossipier than the traditional Variety and Hollywood Reporter. But it's got great information about the industry, and they picked up on this. It's probably a PR wire report, to be honest, because as I did the research into this project and I started asking around on this project, it was just a PR wire that dropped. There's not a lot of details as to how they were able to execute this. And so let's just look over this PR newswire that's kind of been reprinted in a sense by Deadline, which, by the way, Ana Ramon Rubio is the name, and we'll find out later what I mean. So Fremantle and Braun backing, The Immigrant, which is a production company, and an entity in Casabona Films. I believe Casabona is probably the Spanish component to this. As I said in my research, this is an international, especially when you talk about Fremantle, an international play where you have filmmakers perhaps from around the world, and kind of looking to propagate a film throughout the international markets. And so, backed by Fremantle, that's why they led with that. They're just like legitimate. Massive company, super smart people work at Fremantle. What's up, Nick? So you have appropriately, the film sees director Anna Ramon Rubio delved deep into the inhospitable world of cryptocurrencies. This just means like she just made a documentary about herself being interested in crypto. So welcome to documentary filmmaking. It's just like anyone can do it, please. If you've got personality, turn that camera on yourself. You got to be doing better than this. This is like I'm a snooze fest. Come on, you guys can do way better. But it's just her process of going through and being curious about Dogecoin and Shiba and sociological implications of adopting this new technology. I think it's this is something anybody could do, and this is something I'm always encouraging people to do. If you have a unique take on what's going on in the world around you, just turn that camera on yourself and just go. That's why I'm doing this. I think I have a unique take on being here in Hollywood. Working in media on a constant basis. This is why I do this, as I call it the overtime show, as a joke, because I'm doing this and I'm so effing tired. But I love this stuff, and I want to share it with you guys. And so, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, because again, if you're getting this news like late, especially like some of these drops I do, like the crowd loan is gonna be gone soon. And in fact, if you get in the first, I almost feel like I'm wasting your time now. I'm like, oh my gosh, if you get in the first 1,000, you'll get an extra 10%, I believe. So I'm gonna rush through this complex process. Save users have inquired. So it's like very ominous. Like, oh yeah, the investors bought out the tokens in less than 24 hours, fully financing the project. We don't know what that means. Fully financing a documentary, it could be really anything these days, from a couple $100,000 to $1 million, maybe even more. The way the documentaries have gone, and the documentary film market certainly rewards good documentary films with great distribution, and those leading to low six figures, 7 figures actually, and so it depends on who your distributor is. They don't seem to have one yet, but they got their funding, and that's kind of. This is what a lot of our boards talk about, that process. Oh, great crypto. How do we use crypto? There's 2 ways of using crypto currently that really make a lot of sense, that should be just actuated immediately. That's on the finance side. We assume, hey, financiers, no joke, as soon as money comes into this account, boom, smart contract, you get it. There's no middleman. There's no accounting. There's no fuzzy math applied to you getting your money back. You're getting recoupment. On the other side, you have the exhibition side. It runs, it gets seen. Check, okay, that's a watch, that's a view, you owe me X. And so the accounting sides of both of these somehow need to meet in the middle, and I think that's where there isn't there's a seam there, and nobody's quite able to ease that seam as of yet. Again, I should bring on some of my friends here on the show, because it's called Crypto Media Friends, but I never have time to bring in any friends. But they're doing such great work in the space that they're going to be interesting to talk to when I do. I'll try and aim for next week and get hold of one who's doing great work in trying to ease that seam. But it's an exposed seam. It's something that you can try and tackle different ways of offerings and trying and approach it, and you sort of get into that weird world of securities, etc. That you kind of, I don't know, for me is very, sorry, I'm going to just kind of turn off some things here. Okay. I just don't like seeing all that stuff. And so, easing those seams between, traditional exhibition and, having the film finance side, and marrying those two has been the challenge. I think, you have a play on both sides, on either side, of incorporating, and I think both try and argue and push that one should, lead the other. I sort of favor the finance side, because the finance side can lead through NFTs, and it's been my argument that NFTs are the ticket, are the sale, and also the collectible, and also a lot of other things that you want to put into the locker of value that we talk about here a lot on the show. And so when you're pushing that into traditional exhibition, seeing it at the movie theater, having the success of a big time filmmaker, that's where things get sort of like, well, do I need that? No, you need to plug into a system that already has that. And there's another great friend that I've been working with. I haven't worked with personally, but I'm speaking with a lot about that exhibition side of how to actuate that and connect your funded project into their exhibition system, which they need to, they're going to have a tougher road because they're going to have to propagate that through a lot of traditional media and utilizing perhaps veracity, which we cover a lot here on the channel and has been doing really well. If you'd listened to us very early on, not that this is financial advice, but you'd be up 4x in a couple months. And in this market, that's quite nice. That's pretty sweet coin. So as I said, I asked around about this project. It's very sweet. This is the second feature from Anna, and she won Best Documentary for her first film at the Arizona International Film Festival. What's up, Arizona International Film Festival? I was actually for quite a few awards at that festival. It's a great festival. We ended up winning Best Jury Prize, maybe Best Actor. I didn't win Best Director on that one, but we won other places, and so. But leveraging some success there. How do you create a bigger project? The sort of the next project I think becomes like the filmmaker question mark. Like, hey, I've got this film idea, and then I was pushed, go make one, and then you can say, okay, now I've got that one made. It did well. It went to the festivals. Here's the one I really want to make. That's going to cost $1 million, we'll say, that they're going to try and use to make this, and you have that ability. Now here, it's interesting because this is a PR newswire just blast. They're copying and pasting this because of the idea that cryptocurrency in media is sexy, and gosh darn it, it is. But they didn't do a lot of homework on it. Nobody quite has because they've kept it private, and that's the thing. So this isn't like a public sort of offering, if you will, or something. I believe that eventually we're going to get to the crypto, the Stoner Cats model of offering NFTs, offering these collectibles that will fund and that have funded Crypto Cat episodes, that have funded Glue Factory episodes, and so you have these projects. They're currently running and they're in production. They're making stuff. And I'm just like there's a lot of projects actually that are really in this game right now, and for them to come out with this about the documentary, I mean, it's interesting. Good for them for getting the mantle of first documentary film to do this, but I just want you guys to use this as inspiration. Because it can be done, and it is being done, and something that can help serve you as a creator, and whether that's in here in a sense traditional media and filmmaking. Okay, now crowd loan metaverse. Here we go. So the first Pioneer Network crowd loan contribution of what they're calling the NEAR token, NEER token. We had been playing, if you've been part of this game with BitCountry, with the Noom token, NUUM. And that's been part of their test net. They've been not super clear. I'm very frustrated by BitCountry's sort of lack of communication, corporate communication. They have like 7 mods sitting on the Discord. Never once have they answered me for anything other than just very small responses. You can see them working out, and doing YouTube videos, in their marketing and outreach. You can see them trying to build, and you can tell that people have been hired to do these positions. But I will say that they don't have a lot of personality in those positions right now. I'm not saying like that they don't have personality, but like nobody's communicating to people. The Discord is kind of pathetic right now. You have like 900. People asking question, and very few answers. Not to be unfair, but maybe they're just this early in the game, and this is why we feel we're so early in this game, and we want to try and get in on this crowd loan, because I think the vision is really incredible, and the fact that Gavin Wood is very into this project, and that metaverse-wise, it's going to be the first on the Polkadot network, is saying a lot. And so they have a lot of great head start into this game as its own chain. It's crazy, the possibilities here. And so I want to be in on it, and I've been trying to be on it for a long time, and here comes the crowd loan contribution. So they're going to go in on the Kusama network, which is the test network for the PolkaDot's sort of ecosystem. And this is kind of the space where there's been other projects like Karura, which will lead to Akala, which is kind of like the Uniswap meets they want to be everything. They're like Uniswap meets stablecoin meets sort of lending as well. And so you can see these projects as they get in on the Kusama network develop and kind of see their vision for going big time with the Polkadot network. And when I say big time, you look at what happened with Moon River. It's like the one that I didn't get in on goes like 500x. So it's just like forget whatever I'm saying and just go and do the exact whatever I'm missing, apparently. And you're going to do crazy well. So Moon River did like something crazy, like 500x. They're going to have their Polkadot parachain auction soon, which is going to be Moonbeam. This is going to be the entree of this type of project, a metaverse project, into the Kusama network. How big it's going to be, nobody knows. But the thing is if you like the ecosystem and you want to invest in the ecosystem, this is a great way to reward people who want to hold on to the coin. And so, whether that's Polkadot at the higher ends or here at the beginnings, Kusama. So if you're in at the Kusama parachain auction, you're going to get these near tokens. Now, they don't know. Like, I love this, near tokens plus additional surprises, they say. And so you lock your KSM, meaning you stake it, and you put it in there. You're going to get it back. And so for that, they've already been very clear here. They're going to give you 68 near tokens. How much is that worth? Nobody knows. How much is, you'll know in about a month after they actually win their thing, because like it's just going to go bonkers, and then it'll settle on a trading range that makes sense for the value proposition. And so, if you're of the first 1,000 contributors, I think I actually did the link here in preparation for this down in the comments section. So hit that while you're listening to that, and you can walk through this if you have your JS wallet, which is just the Polkadot Kusama wallet. It's it's sort of it's a bad name, honestly. They should call it something cool. MetaMask, it sounds cool, and it's just so damn cute. JS wallet is not sexy, but it gets the job done, and it does well interacting. I think that's the kind of cool part about the Polkadot system is the wallet. It needs upgrading, but the actuations of the system, it works very nice, and you see your transactions, and you know where in the transaction process you are. It's very clear, so you don't have to go running, to Etherscan. You're like trying to look at code, and you're like looking at addresses and hash, and you're like, okay, is it going? I don't know. With Polkadot, it's just so fast, and you see the actuations through the network, and when it gets put on the block instantaneously. So early contribution bonus, you'll get 10%. That was still active as of today. I just did it, so you're still getting 10%. And then if you spread the word, get rewards, you get an extra 5%. So I've added that. I never ask for anything other than the occasional birthday drop into my wallet or something. But please subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that sort of stuff. But here this also rewards you. If you put my code in, you're going to get 5%. I'll get 5% too, but you're going to get 5% as well. And I think that's a win-win for everybody. And so I throw it in there because I don't often do this sort of stuff. Because I want you guys, honestly, because when I was doing it, I was pissed I didn't get 5% because I was so early in on it. I'm just like, I don't know who else did it to give me a referral code, so I didn't get 5%, so I'm a little pissed that I didn't get the 5%. But now you guys do, and I love that. So get your Polkadot.js extension wallet, and if you go to that website, you click on, this is what's great about the parachain auction system. It's getting very streamlined. It's getting very like before, it was very nebulous. Like pulling together this information was kind of scary as hell. Here they walk you through very easily. Here, get your wallet. You don't have your wallet, here's a link to download your wallet to the Chrome browser. I use Chrome. Brave perhaps might work as well, but Chrome is the best right now for most cryptocurrency interactions with the wallet in Web 3.0 before you can participate in the crowd loan. So if you have KSM, which is the Kusama coin, I get it. Go to CoinGecko, and then they'll give you the list of where you can buy it. I get mine probably KuCoin. That's where I get mine. Great little marketplace. Because that's the impediment here to Web 3.0 is like the wallet. But that is Web 3.0. You have to have the wallet. You have to get through that barrier of technology and understanding. And then the tough part then is to load up that wallet with the correct coin. And, Coinbase is kind of where I always lead everyone to get started, because you're going to be able to get a good swath of it securely, ostensibly. And it's very simple, the interface, comparatively to KuCoin, for example, is a bit more of a traditional, like if you're a day trader, you're like, yeah, KuCoin, let's do this. But, if you're just like a regular, creative or something, you're just like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of numbers going on here. How do I get the stuff that I want out of it without losing my rear end by accident? And so, but once you get your wallet loaded up with the Kusama, because that's the thing, is PolkaDot is very you can get it anywhere. But Kusama is this is the challenge, and this is why probably we still are within the first 1,000 people of getting into this parachain auction, because it's very specialized. You have to find the ability to get it into the at a marketplace that perhaps you might not have easy access to, and you have to go through a bunch of weird KYC things where they're gonna take photos of your face in different varying angles and have you write weird messages and telling you trying to KYC through a lot of these international marketplaces is very interesting. And so KYC is Know Your Customer, which is the protocol in which they can legally set up an account for you, and usually it's about a lot of weird stuff. And so once you have the KSM, you put it in your wallet, and then you go to this website, and then you'll actuate and you'll stake it very easily. They streamline this so super easy, and here they're just trying to educate you. What is the crowd loan? Why is this system fair? And what is it that we're trying to do? I think in this thing, I do want to point out some details. So your Kusama is gonna be held on to for 48 weeks. So it's like a year. I'm maybe a bit too rah-rah, but I love the Polkadot ecosystem and Kusama, and I think they're going to do very well. So I think that coin is worth holding on to for a year, perhaps even 2 years at the Polkadot level. And so if you believe in that system and that it's going to stay, that value is going to hold, it's kind of easy. It's like, okay, great, hold on to this. I have it in my wallet. Well, you can hold on to it. Do what you need to do in order to find and fund the support of the parachain auction, which is the system of people staking their coins in support of projects. And so once you have that, then they can launch your system. Now, the near token distribution I thought was interesting under the Fair Network bootstrapping. The near distribution will be vested over 12 months. So I thought that was interesting. I've never quite seen a vesting period that didn't match or I don't know. I just felt like maybe with Karura I got it instantly, and I guess I just never really look at them to a degree, because I think they're, these are such early days. This is a system that even though Polkadot is like number 8 of coin market cap, it's not even live yet. It's still in testnet in a sense, although the testnet is a very effective and potent one in the Kusama network. Polkadot hasn't launched anything, nor has Cardano, nor has a couple other ones, but it has this distribution vesting over 12 months. So I don't know if that means their vesting usually means like periodically over 12 months, but it seems like potentially they could by the end of 12 months will you be fully able to get your 68 near token, which is interesting. And again, I think they're looking at how to, as I say, build a solid and well-intentioned community from the ground up. And you get a lot of flippers, and certainly on this channel we've looked at a lot of projects, and I've tried not to overhype them, especially like Metaverse. These projects that clearly are just primed to hype, and the results of which are a lot of people losing a lot of money, and a lot of holders of perceived value, that value not being there, because you get excited about a project, and you want to don't want to miss out on anything, and so a lot of people ape in, but that's why I covered Metaverse very early on, but I gave it some real temperament when I was like, this is the value. The value is, I still think the value is fairly good, is to make your own collectibles, is to print your own, 3D print your own mecha. I think that's still super cool, super dope. Is it the end all be all greatest NFT drop of all time? It was up there with mints. It really was. But the art left a lot of people, desiring more. And so, this is what happened with sevens before that, when we talked a lot about, the valuation and why that valuation may have been over pumped in a sense. You never know, but you kind of do know a little bit, when you're in this space, and you're getting a strong sense of, why people are aping into certain things. But, here from the coin level, the idea anyway is continuing value, and so do your own due diligence with BitCountry. It's something I've been covering here on the channel for a while. So if you've liked, subscribed, and you have hit the bell notification, you'll be well aware of this, and hopefully you're staking now and using my code so that we both get 5% more, which is just sweet. It's free money. It's kind of awesome. And so, like I said, they make it super easy for you. You get in here and you just kind of click, boom. I threw in one Kusama because, again, you don't have. This is the thing about crypto participation as well. You don't have to put in like 1,000 KSM. You can just put something in support of something you believe in at nearly any level. Here, the minimum is 0.1 KSM. So that's about $39, and so you don't feel like, and I think on the Ethereum network, the pressure to like, oh gosh, it has to be like $1,000 for anything just to be worth the gas fees. And so here, I didn't even know if I paid gas fees, honestly, of anything more than a cent or two. And so it's easier to actuate, and it's easier to send participation, and do as much as is comfortable for you, based upon the fact that you're going to get 68 near per KSM. What the near does, nobody knows right now. So, but you're getting it for free. So even if it's just worth $10, down the line, you're saving $680. again, this isn't financial advice. This isn't, who knows, the value of these things. But just in general, just kind of generally speaking, like instead of buying secondary market at $680, we just stake our KSM, which we're going to get back in 48 weeks for free. We're getting these near tokens. So whether that's valuation, I'm hoping honestly for valuation within the game and within the ecosystem. And so had I, a ton more, sure, but my gosh, look at us with NFTs, like we're just like frozen. We'll talk about this a little later too. We're just like frozen in liquidity. We're just like, oh gosh, or maybe I should have took that offer on that NFT that, I kind of poo-pooed. But now it looks like a great offer given the market. And so, so you just, click, you're in. It's even kind enough to remind you, like, hey, you're gonna not have this for 48 weeks in support of Big Country Pioneer Network crowd loan. And if you're cool with it, great. You get in, and boom, you are successfully in. And so, by helping using this referral code, you're going to get some. This kind of just explains it, so that we're on the up and up, me and you. Like, that this isn't some shiesty thing for, me to get 5% and run off into the night somewhere. You're getting 5% as well. This is how I did my career. This is how I did, sort of a lot of the earlier crowd loan sort of things was, utilizing these crowd loans, because they're just, it's an extra 5%, and also it's a nice way to say thank you to the person who gave you the alpha, if you will. I also want to check in on, I know, like I said, a lot of the market has been going not so great, in terms of like, what we've been used to previous to that, just like the hype train, just jumping on. And, just like it's almost startling, seeing projects like Vogu hit 0.2. And I think 0.2 is really, it's really come to a significant level of where I think a lot of projects end up landing. If you have a strong community, if you have a great look, a great product that people like, it kind of, at the end of the day, like, almost like the lowest common value seems to be like, just kind of 0.15, 0.2, 0.3-ish, it's just like this area of value that I think we associate with, that's a decent project. And you still have fans of it, but it's not pumping. And so, when you're pumping, it's like it's a whole different world. And so I think right now we're looking at a lot of projects that have sort of lost that pump and are in that period of consolidation. And I think I point out, a lot of them like Animatus, which, by the way, also Elio, I think it was Elio who pumped up Animatus, right? But, it's just like these projects have they're OG, but then like they had this huge consolidation. And so let's take a quick look at this, like just ugly these charts, like for Animatus here. It was just like, look at the volume, like back in the day of when it first started. It was like the project, oh my gosh, had to have an Animatus. And then, this sort of secondary bump as they were sort of discovering in late August, like, hey, like, we think we're going to try and do this Monkey thing and like, do this hovercraft. And so, they're showing their roadmap and really understanding, the potential of what NFT ownership could be within these projects. And as they began to show the roadmap, people got really excited. And me too. I think this is, at that point, I got my second animated. And so but after this period of consolidation, because then here comes the waves of Oni, here comes these other waves of projects that take focus away from this particular project. And I think just looking at this, and if you sort of were to like graph on sort of like the dates of like when these other projects took off, they're just sucking the air out of these projects, much like the entire market of NFTs has been sucked down by the altcoin investment currently going on. And so, and I hope you're doing well there, because if you've been paying attention to the ones that we've been dropping here, you're doing quite well with your Luxo and your Cosmo and your PolkaDot. So there's just examining sort of how these graphs show us general market activity. It's not hard to see after a long period of consolidation. I think a lot of us, in terms of market trending, look at consolidation as a great buy point, as a point where it needs ignition. All it needs is ignition, because right now you have, something like Animetis, something like Vogu, where something like Wicked Craniums, you have just like a really strong bedrock of fans who love the project, of famous people who love the project, who are there, who they want to talk about it, they want to be present, they want to sort of change their profile pics to something cool, and they're just waiting. They're waiting for the ignition, and nobody knows quite when that's going to be. If that's some sort of drop. Right now, it's been about if you're adding passive income, and you're like, oh yeah, we're gonna drop some coins, some animated coins on you, and they might, because this is a project that is so well formed, in its push into gaming, and in its its understanding of what it is. It's really profound that it hasn't succeeded, but they just haven't succeeded with raising their floor price. The floor price has not been risen because it doesn't have the thing that's in vogue right now, which is the passive income. And so, look, this is a floor price of 0.3. It's just like it's really gone down to a level of consolidation where I think it could be an interesting point to begin to purchase some of these. And so, and if you can't, and if you say, it's like, oh, that's too low for me, or you don't think that's, got enough hype on it. I know every influencer is mentioning this, but Mutant Ape Yacht Club is probably the go-to buy if you can afford it, right? If you can get into, it's 3.8, it's still quite a bit. That's a good used car. So, but getting into that community, look at it. The consolidation of it it's not letting up, is it? Because I think there's so much value associated with that community, and so the consolidation, the price, after the main hype and the main release, and sort of after it's like bounces, has not gone down too much, and because I think it's it's a name brand that everyone recognizes, it's not really going anywhere too far down south, is it? And so, but if it does and continues to have a little bit of a dip, I think that's the thing, is like everyone's like, yeah, we're just waiting. Like, everyone's waiting for like 2.9. Everyone has their price of when they can get into something like an ape project, but it's a not bad time, not financial advice, but this is not a bad time to be looking at those projects and re-examining what they mean in terms of their value proposition, and looking at their roadmap and understanding, their vision, maybe doing a little more due diligence in the Discords and hanging out there, because if you're at 0.2, you're looking for, okay, well, what's the thing that's going to spark it? I don't know what it is exactly, but I do know that a project like Vogu, like Animatus, like Wicked Craniums, like, they have that ability of being the name brand to go and make a deal that could really ignite. And I think that's what's missing in a lot of these projects. They don't know quite how to ignite. And I think a lot of them are coming to that conclusion that, like, hey, we can't do this all in-house. This is crazy. I think, like, Animatus is taking on way too much, but then they've also realized, hey, we've got really talented people in the Discord that can do this for us. Amazing. And so they've kind of like, hey, can you set up that LP for us? That's amazing. And so, you have that functionality now with Animatus. And so having, that the right connection is going to make all the difference. And so I think Vogu really is in a great position for this, because they're, I think they're both here in Los Angeles. The founders, they've been taking meetings at agencies. They actually signed with a gaming agency just a day or two ago, and so this is breaking news here on the Vogu Collective. But it's one of those triggers where I'm just like, man, if I had much more liquidity and I wasn't stuck in a lot of projects that are just like hurting right now, there's like those damn bears and the honey. I'd be like, oh great, I'd like to scoop the floor of these, because the value proposition here at point 2 is not a bad one, given its ability now, and that's the thing, its ability to connect as a brand into traditional media. I think is so great. What that means as to a holder becomes the question that we ask here all the time. How are you gonna make me rich? How are you gonna enrich my experience of owning your NFT? And literally pay me for paying, thousands of dollars worth of ETH, hard-earned ETH, that is probably, gaining much more value than it has sitting with your project. How are you going to reward, the holders? Is it going to be when you strike that traditional media deal, that gaming deal, that potentially could be here at the forefront of a Vogu Collective signing? With with an agency, directly, that's into games and that's looking to create, an IP extension into traditional media that's going to pay them. Vogu's going to get paid a licensing fee. The collective is the owners of that, the quasi DAO in a sense. How much of that do the owners get of the individual NFTs for helping to propagate this collective, for participating in its growth, whether that's an ability to show. I know Dane Cook, early on the days of Dane Cook. If you like his comedy, subscribe, because you're my people. But Dane Cook was just he was on Friendster, so it was just really early into sort of media, and he would do these meetings, and he would be like, hey, I'm big on the internet. Their agents are like, sure, dude. He's like, no, really. And then so he would bring up his socials, and then he just would type something, and then people would just ping back, and it would see the interaction. And so in a sense, we've been doing that for all these projects. We've been providing value for all these projects that we're participating in, whether that's in the Discords, whether that's just in ownership. How are we being compensated for that? It's a question I really want to put to all creators out there, of existing projects as well as yours that you're working on now. How are you gonna make us rich? how are you gonna pay us back, in a sense, for this? Because right now it really feels one-sided. I will say, with all these projects, a lot of them, feel like rug pulls, because the roadmap is just shaky as hell. There's nothing on them. They keep loosely saying games, loosely saying whatever's on trend. The month before it was charity. Have a charity on there. Check. Have some passive income now is the one to add on their check. But how is it that do they care enough to deliver for holders? And so I'm forming an NFT union, and so really it's just how much do they care? And I think we're going to start to really see that, and I believe it's going to be projects like Stoner Cats that lead the way, honestly, because you got stand-up people however much you want to make fun of Ashton and Mila and their fame. They're stand-up people. They're just they'll get behind something, and if it's not going right, they will make it good. And they did in the Mint. I saw it in the Mint. It's just it's something that's very Like I don't know them personally. Like I've met them before, and they seem very cool and very nice. But in their business dealings, you can just see like if something's not going right and they did something bad that meant was shit, they made up for it. They paid everybody's freaking gas fees. They got wrecked, and so Vogu didn't do that for me. No other project from the Sevens didn't do that for me. I got wrecked on those things, and I just had to take it on the chin. And so, looking at these projects, go back through and look at the ones that maybe you overlooked, the Ethereans of the world, just like the ones that you probably overlooked. But I think it's important to look at the value beyond just the hype. I think we're all looking at the doodles and like, oh man, doodles, heck yeah, jump on the hype train of doodles. It's great art. I dig it. What's the value beyond it? I don't know. What's the value beyond this Vogu? I don't quite know, but I do see the potential for traditional media, big time, here in this project. Now, what that means is going to be solely dependent upon how they treat the community and their community. And so it's going to be a really interesting time. And that's why I'm excited to share this stuff with you guys. So please like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. I do this stuff like, the parachain auction, drops and stuff like that as they come. So if you're watching this after this crowd loan is gone, I apologize because you didn't get 5% more NEAR tokens, and you don't get free NEAR tokens. And they're at $100 and you're pissed off, but that's why I'm here for you guys, working every day, trying to do the side hustle and get you guys sort of a version of this that has a bit more value to it than just finding off of Discords or some influencers. I'm just like, they just looked at Rarity Tools and like they're just listing off. They go Rarity Tools. They go to the website and they read you the website. I'm sorry, like come on, do some work, man. I'm out here hustling, trying to make calls on your guys' behalf about crowd loans of the first documentary and stuff, and trying to get to the bottom of very empty announcements that are made to drive the hype train for a particular project. And so hopefully you guys appreciate that, because I appreciate you. Thanks for all your feedback.